Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about SCCM 1906 upgrade and some of the new features that are available with the 1906 upgrade. So some of those features that I'm going to go over real quickly are the requirements. The requirements to install 1906 is you have to be at least 1802, 1810, and or 1902. If you're on one of those three versions, you can easily just go right into 1906. If you're on any earlier version, you'll need to upgrade to one of these versions before moving on to 1906. I want to talk a little bit about the application catalog, the software center customization, software updates, cloud attached storage, some of the Azure Active Directory discovery, and permissions to the security groups, and some of the things we can do with that. So with that, let's get started. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the console. So with the requirements, as I mentioned, the application catalog. Now, as you know, the application catalog is going away, but it's still available. And what's taking place is the software center customization. So when you come into administration, you go to the client settings and you click on here, the default setting. Now, you may have some other settings here, but if you go into the software center, you'll see that say yes, obviously it would already be there, and then you can click on customize, and you can actually customize some tabs. You can add and remove some of these. You can create some additional ones. You can have some default stuff. You can say all or featured, what have you, and so you can actually customize the software center and what the user sees when they go into the software center. So that's kind of a nice little added feature. Now, some of the other things I mentioned too, if you're into the features. Now, if you want to take advantage of the Azure Active Directory User Group Discovery, where you can discover all of the groups in Azure, you'll need to turn on the feature. It's a pre-release. So you'll come in here to Administration Features, and you'll right-click on and turn on. This will allow you to do that discovery. And I'll create a separate video on how to use it specifically. Another thing called application groups. Now you can use application groups, and then you can right click on here and turn it on, which is a new feature here. So I wanted to show you that. You can also synchronize collection membership results to Azure Active Directory groups. So again, you'll have to turn that on, and you'll be able to see the additional features in SCCM when you turn these features on. If you wanted to turn, and then of course, if you want to turn on some other stuff you see here, you can do that here in the section. So I wanted to just highlight a few things that were new in 1906, from before. You can also create server groups as well. And you can also have mobile apps for co-managed devices, which is a nice thing to have. Now you can actually install an application to a single device without that device having to be part of a collection. I'll go over that to another video, but I'll put all the information in the link in the comments section below so you can review some of these features. One of the nice things about the security scopes, you know how you can set security scopes on applications, boundaries, groups, and what have you. Well, now I can set security scopes on folders, which we couldn't do before. So if I right-clicked on a folder, I can right-click on this folder, for example. I don't know if it'll work at this level. Let me go back to access. There you go. If I go here, right-click on this folder, go to folder, and now I can set the security scope. So I can click on this, and then I can set whatever security scope I want to have. So let's say I only want desktop people there. So I can just click on this, and only the desktop folks will be able to access that folder. Or I want to, do everything. So, or everybody. So it depends on how you want to organize your folders and who gets access to everything. So just make sure you keep that in mind, how you want to organize that. So now you can apply security scopes to the folders now. So that's a nice little plus. So with that, let's get started. Let's go show you how to do the upgrade. I just wanted to touch on a few things. Thanks. As you can see, I have 1906 that's ready to install. Now, this version will require you to upgrade your clients. But again, when you go to upgrade your clients, make sure that your Windows 7, 2008, and 2008 R2 have that SHA-2 patch to be able to support that. So just keep that in mind. So basically, I always like to do a prerequisite check on here. So just because it's, in case I need to do something. So it's going to do the prerequisite check to make sure that I've got all of my prerequisites in terms of the SQL version that's on there. Right now I'm running SQL 2012, Service Pack 4, and then of course the 2012 machine. So I think those will still be supported. So again, I just like to do that prereq check, even though it does it again when I do the install. That way I can catch any possible issues. So I'm going to let that run, and I'll be back. After a while, when you do the prerequisite check, when you go into monitoring, updates and servicing status, you'll see that 1906, the prerequisite check has passed. So we're going to go ahead and do the install now. And again, it's going to rerun that check, but at least it'll just go through. And so we'll go ahead and install the update pack. And go ahead and ignore prerequisite check because we've already validated that the prerequisite check has passed, so we don't need to not check that. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then if you want to enable anything at this point, you can here, or just leave the defaults. So I'm going to just go ahead and leave the defaults. But if you wanted to add anything at this point, it'll just take longer time. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on next, and then go ahead and update without validating, which is fine. And accept the terms, and you'll see that all right, so we'll just go ahead and click on next. Next. All right, then you close, and then it'll take some time. And again, it's going to do the prerequisite check as I mentioned earlier. So we're going to go ahead and monitoring, and let's go ahead and wait for that. I'm going to go ahead and let this finish, and I'll be back shortly. All right, so as you can see here, once it's installed, I went to the monitoring tab to monitor the updates for the 1906. Once it's installed, it'll say it's installed, and you'll see this notice here that a new version of the console will get installed. So if I go ahead and click on, I can either click on this right here to install the new console, and it will actually close out the console and start the install. And I just wanted to show you that little link. And it will then download the file and update the SCCM console. Now, before you upgrade to this version of to SCCM 1906, you need to be at least 1806, 1810, and 1902. So if you're one of those versions, you can just go straight to 1906. If you're in any earlier version like 1710 or 1511 or any of the older versions, you will need to at least upgrade to one of those versions that I mentioned, 1806, 1810, and 1902. And then from there, you can go ahead and upgrade to the 1906. Make sure that you're running a supported operating system, as I mentioned earlier, and SQL Server version. And the operating system, the prerequisites that we mentioned earlier, obviously 2012 or later operating system for the central site and the site servers and the application catalog and all of those site system roles. 2012 or later will be fine. And in terms of the .NET, you'll want .NET 3.5 remote differential compression installed, which you already have. You don't need to do anything there. And also, if you're going to be supporting the new version of the Windows 10, like Windows 10 1903 example, you'll need to then install the Windows 80K, and that'll be a separate video, and I'll do that probably next week to show you how to upgrade that piece of that. And once you've confirmed that and now obviously that's why we did the prerequisite check. Now for I'm looking for the SQL component. The SQL, the minimum is going to be 2012 with Service Pack 4 will be the minimum requirement SQL. So if you're already at that version or greater, then you should be fine. There'll be no need to upgrade it unless you have an earlier version of that. But at any rate, I will put the requirements and all that information down below in the description. So look for that. Again, once the console has been upgraded, you'll then need to upgrade your client to the new version. And I'll show you that in a second once this completes. All right, and as you can see, the console came back up. So what we're going to do is go to administration sites. hierarchy settings, and if you look at the client upgrade, you'll see that the client version will now be 50088531006. That's going to be the new version of the agent. So if I click on help about config manager, you'll also see that here. That's going to be the new version. And if you go into my devices, you'll see that the old version was 1902. And now my environment will eventually upgrade within a couple of days. We go to client version. So right now, within a few days. Now, most environments are usually set up for like 14 days or over a couple of weeks or a week period. Your environment, depending how big your environment is, will start to replicate the devices out to your environment to upgrade them. Now, to go back to that setting real quick. Some companies like to suppress the servers, so you'll have to do those manually if you want. Again, this is a lab environment, so I chose to go ahead and install the upgrade. Now there's a setting where you can like just suppress that for domain controllers. You can do that manually. That's fine, which is fine, and that's basically it. And so that's it. So now, additionally, when you've completed the installation of the 1906 upgrade, you're going to need to upgrade your boot image. So what I have right here is the SCCM manager, and so what you'll see, you'll come to software library and go to boot image. You'll right click on the boot image. You update distribution points. We're not going to reload because I didn't upgrade the 80K yet, so I'm just going to upgrade. Now I could wait until I upgrade to the 80K to do this part, but I just wanted to show you this quick. So you can see the OS version and client version right now is this. When I go to upgrade, it's actually this is going to change. Now you can wait to do the 80K to do this part, but I just wanted to show you if you weren't going to upgrade the 80K at this point, where you would go to update your boot images. So you can see right now, this is the current version. When I go update this, it's going to update it to the new that client version will be updated. So click on next. Alright, so then you click on next. And you'll want to do this to both of them. And there you go, you got the 64 done. I'm going to do the same thing to the 32-bit. Again, you can see this is the version it's currently at right now. Now again, I have not upgraded to 80K yet. I can do that later, but I just wanted to show you where this was at. Next. And there you go, the 32-bit is finished. And that's basically it. So when I do the 80K, we'll also do this again, so it includes the newer support for 1903, for Windows 1903. And that's basically it. So again, I'll leave some links in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel. There's going to be more content coming your way. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.